So I'm always waiting. Looks like we are live. Hey everybody, how's it going? We made it to yet another Wednesday. Notice I'm not wearing my ink flingers hat because I got a haircut. And you don't want to waste a haircut with putting a hat on it. So how's everybody doing? Let's see who is here for another Wednesday live stream painting the beautiful Raquel. So we have Cool Kids, good to see you. Mr. Steve Lang, all the way from the UK, great to see you. Mr. Leahy, living in Ohio, out of Massachusetts. We have, good to see you, Mr. Leahy. We also have Total Pain, Mr. John Payne, hailing from upstate New York. Only the Northeast people know what upstate New York means. And then we have Colette. How you doing, Colette? Out of Chicago, now living in Wisconsin. So that's really cool. So we seems like we have a little bit of a Midwest kind of thing going on always. That's good. It's the heart of the country. And then we have people from the UK and we have people from the West Coast. West Coast people always kind of trickle in, don't they? You know, they kind of trickle in because it's early there. Yes, it's early there. 3 hours earlier than us New Yorkers. So, look at that. I have pastels left on my workstation from the Saturday live stream. So, don't forget, Saturdays at 8 o'clock are the pastel live stream. And what we're going to be doing on Saturday is finishing up the airbrush underpainting, as you all can see. This is our young lady from the airbrush underpainting, from the pastel. This is done on a marble dust gesso mixture on an illustration board. No, it's not an illustration board. It's a wood panel. And then we're going to do light glazes of pastel over this. So don't miss that. You airbrush people out there, it's really going to be exciting because you're going to learn how you could use your airbrush skills to enhance and learn about pastel. You pastel people out there, you'll be able to learn how you can take your pastel skills and enhance them with the airbrush. So, and they all need my Airbrush India ink for that, because anything else will lock that pencil lines underneath the values. So you got to make sure use my inks, because you can erase after using the Airbrush India inks, which is great. Let's see who made it here today. So we have nameless subscriber all the way from Cali. Good to see you. And he said it's just about to organize his airbrush supplies, but watching your feed sounds a lot more fun. Thank you. We always like to have you here. It isn't the same without you, my friend. And we have Clutch Pyro. How's it going, Patrick? Great to see you, my friend. All the way originally from Wisconsin, and he is hailing out of Massachusetts. So we got two Mass people here. And Mike Deloach, how you doing? Mike, I keep forgetting where you from. If you could recollect my memory, I'll promise to try not to forget. And let's see. Cool. That is good. Oh, Nameless said just made his own homemade gesso canvas. Oh, that's fantastic. Sanding it was, yeah, sanding is, you got to do that after it dries. Atlanta. Okay, Hotlanta. That is great. I love the Falcons. I'm a big Falcons fan. Today I have my coffee. You ever see that comedian? I'm making coffee. Who wants coffee? He has my same accent. Who wants coffee? I'm making a pot of coffee. You want coffee? I got coffee. I'm making coffee. That's me. But I live alone, so I have nobody to do that with. My cat doesn't like coffee. So let's see. So this is all cool. Actually, Steve Leahy is actually from Massachusetts, but currently he's living in Ohio. Oh, you want coffee? I'll make coffee for you. All kids wants coffee. Hey, Marshall, how you doing? Marshall, could you let me know again where you're from so I don't forget? So I think it's the letter M. I'm having trouble remembering letter M. My guess is from Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I'm correct. That's true. Mike says talking to yourself is definitely okay as long as you don't lose any arguments. Yeah, you don't want to have an inner battle, right? You want to be on the same page with yourself. Oh, Hawaii. Way to go, Marshall. That is great. How cool is that? Us Americans, when someone says Hawaii, we always go, ooh. No matter where we're from. It's like when someone says, what does your son do? Well, my son's a doctor. Oh, same kind of thing. Nameless wants coffee. I'll get some coffee for you. And Mr. John says, don't forget to hit that like button. And Mr. Mike is in Ohio, which is a neighboring state of Michigan. So you got to give me partial credit for that. Hey, how's it going? What's going on, Roy? Color Graphics, all the way from New Jersey, originally out of Maryland. So that's cool. Oh, Marshall's from Seattle. How cool is that? I always wanted to go to un cafecito. Un cafecito. I love that. And so that's cool. So Seattle, always wanted to go, Okay, so I had from working today, I have my Extreme Patriot 105. This is my customized version, of course. And in this airbrush, it has all the same adjustments, but it has a larger cup, which is great if you're doing large areas, backgrounds, that sort of thing. So it's the perfect complement with your airbrush, your favorite airbrush in mind, the customized Badger Extreme Patriot Arrow. And this is my everyday airbrush, probably about 90% of the time. And Steve Leahy says that Ohio is the bomb. Okay. Nice people come out of Ohio, definitely. And so I want to show you all. So I have 2 of these left. That means this is how I get these, how they start out, right? So I have yet to customize these. So you can see you get this out of this. This comes out of this. So I have 2 of these. You can see they have the crazy trigger and everything that's in there. And I'm going to make it into this. So if anyone's interested in purchasing one of these tonight, I will go ahead and send you a free set of my Airbrush India inks with it. Not only that, since I do have these in stock, I can get these out to you by Saturday. So they can be in the mail by Saturday. So if you're interested, now's the time to go ahead and get them, and you'll get that free set of Airbrush India inks with them. So let me know, or you can just go to the website right here, www.inkflingers.com. It's such a fun website. You do everything there. No, it's a good website. So let's see. So Blue, how you doing? Great to see you, Blue. How cool. Looks like Clutch is messing with Ohio there. That's funny. Okay, so I have my Extreme Patriot Arrow, the customized version, of course. I'm going to put the detail mixture in. I want to give you guys and girl, a really good tip. Thank you. Mr. Clutch says that the ink spray is so nice. I really appreciate it. The best advertisement are artists who are happy with the product. So I really, really appreciate that, sir. I have a new thing. I used to have a barrier of 2 feet when I put ink into my airbrush or any paint. Now, since I was working over the weekend and it was a commission, I don't know what happened. I put the ink in normally, and somehow the ink went flying and went right on my painting. But the good thing is I had it covered with Frisket, and that saved me. But that would have been a horrible thing because it was like a 90% finished commission. So, new rule, and I hope you adopt it. 3 feet, and I want you to be lower than your painting. So I'm going to be 3 feet, and I'm lower than my painting. And this way, it's almost impossible that I will get any kind of ink spraying on my work because I'm an extra foot and I'm lower. So I'm lower than my painting. So it would have to kind of defy the laws of gravity to actually get to my painting. So I think that's good odds. Defying the laws of gravity is odds that my painting won't get destroyed. So I can live with those odds. So I'm putting the detail mixture, 4 drops of detail mixture, 4 drops of white. No, 4 drops of water, not 4 drops of white. That would be disastrous. Okay, so let's see if we can go in here right now. So we have a nice group today. Thank you everybody for hanging out and, you know, spending your Wednesday with me. I really appreciate it. This is definitely glasses territory. All right, let's take another sip of coffee. Wow, that coffee is good. This live stream is brought to you by Maxwell House, Colombian coffee. No, but would be nice. Okay, so now I have my artwork here. Let me see if I can get that picture of Raquel there for you so you guys can see her. So let me go and add the picture of Raquel. Let's see. Is this it? Is this the button? I hope so. Let's see. I'll come here and I'll look for Raquel, and she's in the pictures, and I should come down here. Just be 1 second. Thanks for your patience, everybody. So I'm looking for her with the black hat. There she is. And so this is my painting, my photo that I took of Raquel. And I'm just going to make her the right size so you all can see. There you go. Okay, so now let's go ahead. Now, people say like, well, Tim, how come sometimes when you're working, you do your black and white, yet you're working from a color photo? Because it's important to see values when you're working with color. It's very important. So that is something that, you know, it's good to go ahead and work from black and white photographs. I give you that. However, it's much better that you work from color photos so you can see value in color. Because a lot of you might not know, but I've been working in color since I was 15 years old. So I do work in color. So just for the last couple of years, I wanted to establish myself with my Airbrush India inks. So I didn't publicly online work in color, but I still work in color, you know? So anyone else having trouble with audio? Let me know. I'm just going to do a quick feedback here. You're going to hear some feedback. So let's see. So let me know if you're hearing any kind of weird feedback, and I'd really appreciate that. And I'm just going to go really quickly to my website here. And let's have a quick listen. So quick test to hear the sound. Let me see. So quick test to hear the sound. Let me see. Okay, I think I'm hearing a little bit of a beeping noise. Okay, I think I'm hearing a little bit of a beeping noise. Okay, I think I'm hearing a little... No, I think we're okay. I think my sound is okay. Is it a little bit of a noise? So everything is fine. A little bit of static, but you hardly notice. Remember, I kind of melt in the summer, so you're going to hear the air conditioners until around October. But I do apologize for that, but that's one thing I can't stop. But I think we're okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to, since I'm working on this painting for the first time in a week, I'm just going to work on some of these darker areas, come in here, and just get reacclimated to the painting. And what better way than the hat, which is a large area. Not too much detail. Cool. Thanks for that, Mike. I appreciate that. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Oh, Matt, I can't believe you said that. Okay, don't let Matt's wife see that comment. So when we're working, I don't want you to really get involved with thinking about finishing the painting. I always want you to just immerse yourself into the process. And finishing the painting, that's going to happen on its own. So you don't have to worry about that. Keep that 1 second rule going, okay? It's very important. And I'm just working on some of the details in the hat right now. Nothing too crazy. Hey Marcel, how are you? Great to hear you. Great to see you. Marcel, where are you from, my friend? Always welcome new people. Ah, Blue, thank you so much for the super chat. I thank you so much for that. That is so wonderful. Blue just gave a $10 donation to the channel. I appreciate that so very much. Thank you. And that really helps everything. And it encourages me and it helps the channel to grow, to get new items such as microphones and, you know, pay the electric bill and everything like that. And generosity like that is what really keeps this channel going. It is quite expensive and I really appreciate those who can. Their generosity is just so much appreciated, and so many people, they help support the channel by taking the classes and buying the airbrush and the India ink and everything, and that really helps. So thank you so much. Marcel says hello total. Oh, new to the channel, so I'm so glad you're here and welcome. Hey Raul, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Raul is from Jersey as well, so we have 3 Jersey people here today. So that's good. You from Jersey? I'm from Jersey. What part of Jersey? What exit? Yeah, the big joke is, what exit off the turnpike are you? Hey, Patty, good to see you. How you doing, Patty, all the way from Illinois? Great to see you. So fantastic that you're here, and I know you always, Patty always comes by, even though she has to get up early. She still comes by and hangs out with us, and I think that's great. So cool. Oh, Viva Canada! Great to see you, Marcel. Bonjour. I'm so glad you're here, sir. That is great. So we have Canada in the house. Go Canadians. Or in Canada, you call them the Habs, right? The hockey team. So great group here today, everyone. Yes. This is a fantastic live stream already. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Blue, for your support. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with little old me on a Wednesday night when you could be watching The Office on Peacock. So I say that, it's so funny. I started watching that last night, and I can't stop laughing because I worked in an office, and there were a lot of people acting like numbskulls in there. And The Office is so funny because it's so reminiscent of it, of all the weird actions that people would do and the crazy attitudes. And The Office is like the first besides Office Space, that kind of was reminiscent of that, right? It's really hilarious. And very, very cool. Oh, look at numbskulls. I know, that's an old word, right? That's from like the 40s. Like the Three Stooges calling people chowderhead. As you can see, I'm starting to get the youth and the beauty that is Raquel, and it takes some time to develop. So that's what we have to do. We have to be patient, right? To develop the painting. And that's what we're after that. Yes, highly underused. So true. Yeah, I like the path less chosen, you know. And you see I went over just a little bit, but I'm going to come back to that. I never mess with wet paint or wet ink. Let that be like a real motto for you. If it's wet, leave it alone if you're working in Airbrush India ink. It's much more effective changing it when it's dry than it ever is when it's wet. 17, yes! That 18 concurrent viewers, that is so fantastic. I am so excited. Thank you, everybody. This is going to be an amazing live stream. I just know it. And just concentrate. Nameless says, never understood the comedy of that show. Maybe I should give it another shot. You really should. It's really funny. Watch it from episode 1. That's the one thing I would say. And oh, so Marcel says, Tim, could you comment on your private classes, often go, and what you enjoy about them? So my private classes, that's my mentorship program. And in the mentorship program, it's really fantastic because it's one-on-one, 2-hour class that we do at once a week, and I work around your schedule. So if you work, you have kids, you have girlfriends, or what have you, and I know you, and we'll find a day and a time that's good for you that's still flexible, and that's the main thing. And we work on a project together. And so that's 2 hours a day of one-on-one, you working on the same picture I am, We're doing this via Google Classroom. I have several cameras like this. I can see what you're painting, and I also will correct your work using digital software, which is really fantastic, as if I was there, and just incredible. Now I've been teaching online since 2018. So think about that. That's a big head start on other people who are started to teach since COVID. And so I have everything, the sound, the picture. I have several projects. Plus, I'm going to be starting a live stream. It's going to be considered a live stream that's only private to students every Friday. And that live stream is going to be sometimes working on a portrait, sometimes talking about different things that are going to help your art, the business of art, and that will be included every Friday. So it's really a wonderful thing. It's only $100 a month, and that is a really low price. I feel the pinch of it being so low, but it's important for me to keep it low because when you study with me, you're going to have to grow. You're going to have to buy different art supplies, not art supplies from me, but different things that are going to help you grow as an artist. So you'll be able to grow and not have to worry about really huge tuition. Only $100 a month is really fantastic. So definitely think about it. And so, you let me know if you have any questions. Blue says, Tim, she's looking very cool. Great job. Thank you, Blue. I appreciate that. So let's see. I'm going to put in the link for the mentorship program for you, Marcel. Okay? And this way you could take a look. Just be one moment. I'm just going to put that right in there. And this way you can just check it out with the link, okay? So I hope that helps. And, just contact me. You can contact me through inkflingers.com, through the guest, through the Contact Us page, which is really good. And I'm just going to copy this, come over here, and there you go. Bam. So just hit the link and it'll take you further. And so I really hope you seriously think about it. It would be an honor to work with you. So let's see what I missed. Great info. Thank you there, Mr. Cool Kids. I appreciate that. And you're very welcome, Marcel. Very, very welcome. So I have about 5 more openings into the mentorship program. I have 10. Once I get to 15, it's going to pretty much close down and be like on a waiting list. So definitely think about that. No pressure sales or anything, but there's only 5 more openings right now. I have students that are with me for 2.5 years. Average is about a year and a half that students are with me. So that should say something, that they stick with me because, people are just so cool, Thank you so much for that incredible testimony there, Patrick. That is really neat. Definitely. Mr. Brad, how you doing? Good to see you. So Brad is one of my students that's with me over 2.5 years, and he has grown leaps and bounds, as all my students do. And the longer they're with me, the longer the growth just exponentially gets larger and larger. It's so great to see, honestly, right? So if I missed any questions while working, please go ahead and, just ask it again. Because I know I get involved and I'm looking at my painting. So definitely, please ask again. Don't be shy about any question or whether, I'm here for you. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help you, okay? Every question is a good question. The only bad question are the ones you don't ask me. Okay? That's the only bad one. Oh, and Nameless says, put on The Office. First thing Guy does when he gets in is pull his phone out of the desk and plug it in. Well, that's funny. Yes, those were the days. I've been working in an office my whole life. Yuck. But it's funny because it really makes it humorous. Oh, Patty says she loved my YouTube about the micron. Thank you, Patty. Squeeze, how you doing? Good to see you. How's everything? So glad you're here. It's great to see you. How's life in San Francisco? So Squeeze is hailing out of San Francisco, California, one of my top 5 cities. Love San Francisco. Love, love, love it. Can't get enough of it. Just an exciting place, you know. And Mr. Leahy says, okay, kids, hate to bail out, but have a crazy day tomorrow. Take care, my friend. I hope you have a great rest of the week. And don't forget Steve Leahy's live stream on Facebook, Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And he does incredible painting. He's actually working on a painting of his dad when he was a kid. And so definitely check that out. Lots to learn, lots of inspiration. Thanks for hanging out, my friend. And I'm going to have another sip of my coffee. That's good stuff. Very, very cool. Okay. So, I shown this to my student today, and I want to go ahead and show you all this little bit of information I think you'll all find really exciting. So, I'm going to do this. It's going to take a second, right? I want you to bear with me, right? And so it's just going to be a few moments. And just going to come over here, file open. It'll just take a moment, but it will be worth it. Trust me. Famous last words, right? Let's see. We go right here. And go right here. Let's see. Now I will print this out. You'll just take 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Of course I'm a city boy, so I think I saw a lamb that wasn't cooked only about 3 times in my life. So right here I'm going to hit print. I'm going to go get it. Okay, I hear it printing in the other room. So I'm going to close this and I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, look at that. Pa-pow. So when you work on, when you control the size of your work, you can actually go ahead and have printouts that are exactly the same, and you can use these as freehand shields. Really great. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it aside. I'm going to put Raquel aside. One moment, Raquel. Put you right here. And then I'm going to come with my mat and a razor blade. So what I want to do, what my thinking is I want to get this hard edge right here on the nose and the nostril right there, right? That's what I want to do. And I think the best way to do it is to use this printout, and I can cut this out and then spray and get that perfect, beautiful hard edge. What do you say? Now, I want to spray here, so I want to make sure I cover this part up and this part be open, right? So here's the thing. Let's go ahead and try this. If it's not accurate, then, you know, all this talk is really for nothing. So accuracy is key. And with this, I can definitely move this around. Just like so. And I want to make sure I don't tear the paper. The best I can, right? Let's realize that I'm really only after this hard edge right here. I may extend it out a little bit, but I know I'm only after this hard edge right here. And I keep my reference because I want to still be paying attention to the 1 second rule. Am I right? And we'll see how this goes. There we go. And how far am I bringing it out? So if I put in further, less movement, much better. Let's see how this goes. So I can't see the comments just yet, so if you have a question, please re-ask it, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you guys. Okay, see, I have that contour right there. Now let's go make this happen. Bring this over here. Always good to have a small cutting mat near you, and this way you could bring that out rather quickly. Okay, so now I have to find exactly where I want to have that hard edge. So, and okay, so we can put our magnets here. Let's move this over because I want to make sure I get this on the money, right? Has to be on the money. Okay, So I'm just gonna, once I have it, I'm gonna make sure I put it right on the magnet. And taking your time like this is really good, really important. Okay. We'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna do a quick spray. See if I got it. Let's take a look. Okay, good. So you see I am getting that nice hard edge that I was after. So I will continue, and so I can bring that up. So I'm happy that I was able to get that hard edge. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't feel I could actually get that edge as hard as I wanted to just by spraying. So this was a very, very good technique. Even though it was just for just a few moments, it makes a big difference. So I'm happy with that. And then right here, I can come in with, I would say, an aggressive eraser, but using it very non-aggressively. A passive-aggressive eraser. That's kind of funny. It's got an itch in my eye. Let's see. Let's see what I missed. Did I miss anything? Oh, Patty, have a great night. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for hanging out with me. Really appreciate that. And let's lighten her up a little bit. There we go. Okay, fantastic. And again, we're going to just come over here. And now we could move down here. There we go. I'm happy with the nose. Great. And now remember that eye that I was looking at, I extended it a little too far. I can come back and work on it. Now, you always want to erase when the inks are thoroughly dry, okay? Super, super important. '21, look at that, 21 concurrent viewers. That is wonderful. Thanks, cool kids, I appreciate that. So it's good to know that the live stream is healthy. We're back, right? We had a little tough time for a little bit, but you know, we always stick it out, right? Consistency is the key. That is the most important thing in growth, in building a community, and I believe in consistency. So that's something I don't take lightly. And that's a key to survival. Surviving the, you know, a lot of live streams, they don't stick with it, and they kind of leave their audiences just hanging. And I don't want to ever do that. You know, even if there's just one of you, I'm going to be like, hey, we're here, you know. Mike S. says, I'm not saying it's wrong, just never thought he'd cut it out of his drawing. Yeah, you know, it's really good to do that. You know, anything that you can do to get the edges that you need are really important, Mike, you know. The ends justify the means. You know, we all have our limits, what we feel is good or not good, so that's really good. Yes, multiple copies, exactly. Multiple copies. Overspray is always bad, yes, definitely. Uh, Once in a while, you can overspray could be your friend, but a lot more often than not. I'm going to take this medium aggressive eraser and I'm just going to kind of shape the shadow here, which is really just light that is, I would say the light that is less powerful, diminished by distance, and sometimes by an object in front of it. So let's shape this light together. And right here you can see I made the edge a little harsh. Remember, light is, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's soft. And what really depends on whether a light is hard or soft depends on the light source, how far it is from the model, and also how large it is. A smaller light source is going to give you harsher shadows. A larger light source like the sun is going to give you much softer shadows. Hey, Mr. Willie, great to see you. How are you today? Oh, how are you doing, my friend? Are you okay? Wow, so let me know, Willie, how are you feeling? And was this I'm so sorry you went through that. Now, I pray that the surgery was a success? Wow. Sending prayers your way, my friend. Yeah, the stencil masks are always great for several reasons. This painting, more than others, feels like a pencil sketch in this stage, I feel, you know? That's great. See, Willie, everybody missed you, including myself. So thank you for coming by. And it's funny because it has a pencil sketch feel because I'm not in a hurry to get it to look a certain way, to get it to a finished state. I'm okay where it is. I'm okay, you're okay. And we'll get there when a painting is ready, right? Uh, oh my God, poor guy. Ugh, I'm so sorry about that, my friend. Man, I hope you're feeling much better, sir. Wow. There was one morning a while ago, like maybe a year ago, I woke up and everything was blurry. I was fine. When I woke up, I took a nap, and when I woke up, my vision was blurry for, oh man, it must have been for like maybe about 10 minutes, and that was really scary. I don't know what that was, but it didn't come back. But we just realized that our vision is so much more important than we really know. And so I'm praying that that gets resolved 110%, that you see even better out of that eye. That's my hope for you. Now this looks really dark right now, but that's because everything else is light. So I'm going to calm down and not go and be too reactive. A lot of times something looks dark and our first propensity or proclivity is to go ahead and quickly lighten it up. But we don't know if that's going to fall into place. So it's important to, slow our roll. Like, they say slow your roll, right? And that's what I have to do. I have to just relax and say, okay, we'll see how that value looks later. Oh, so Colette has sirens for tornadoes. Do you have a really good basement that you can go to in case, Miss Colette? That's scary. And great. So I'm really starting to feel good about the painting and about, you know, where we are, but I'm just not going to be looking for a likeness just yet. Remember, we're not after a likeness, we're light detectives, right? And so we're just going to be, you know, thinking about the light, what the light is doing, right? Trying to get her expression, her emotion, stuff like that. And that's going to come when we're really understanding what the light is doing and how it's, at that moment, how light was hitting her. Didn't Sugar Ray Leonard have that as well? Detached retina? I think so. And I'm going to bring this little darker value right here that's on the right side of her nose. And you see all these little shapes here. These are the shapes that eventually will get us to looking exactly like Raquel, right? We'll get there, but we have to be patient. So this is a photo that I took of Raquel. Raquel, we went to high school together. We both went to the High School of Art and Design, which was really cool. And so that was so neat to get to see her and reminisce about the high school days. It was really cool. And she was so kind to pose for me. So kind. And I appreciate her very much. Okay, so I'm working up here really nice, and I know I like to move around a lot, but I just want to resolve some areas like her lips. Let's go ahead and resolve that a little bit, and let's see. This detail mixture is really wonderful. And you see I went a little dark. That's okay. I'm not going to go and try and fix it right away. So I say that I want you to do the 1 second rule, but I want to give you a caveat or a warning. A lot of times if you do the 1 second rule but you're not looking down, then you could be spraying where you don't want to spray. So here's how the 1 second rule happens. You do the 1 second rule, stop spraying, look, and then spray again. So never do the 1 second rule while you're spraying, okay? So you see I'm going to spray, I'm going to stop, I'm going to look for a second, I'm going to spray, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to look for a second. You can keep your air down, you know, and then look, and then pull back on the trigger. I like to rock the trigger. So that's still a little wet, so I'm still going to hold back, okay? Still want to hold back, which is really good. So like I said earlier, I have 2 of these that are just in stock, and I'm going to make them into these. If you purchase one of these two, then you'll get a free set of the Airbrush India inks, which is a $24.95 value. So, and I can get these out to you within a week. So if you're interested, go on inkflingers.com and just let me know when you did that, you've seen it, you know, and you're going to get it, and I'm going to give you the free set of Airbrush India inks. Okay, so that's thoroughly dry now, and now I can come in here and I could very soft, I can lighten that up. But only after it's dry, right? Otherwise, it's going to be more in the way than not. And then we can lighten that up. Ah, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. He said it's a very great deal. I thank you, sir. Thank you, Stephen, and everyone who gave the wonderful testimony on the airbrushes on the my latest video on the Extreme Patriot Arrow. I appreciate that so very much, everybody. That really is very heartwarming that you all love the airbrush. And let's see, Tone, how you doing? Good to see you, sir. How are you? So I can see if so now you can see how the eyebrow goes a little further out. So I'm just going to pull out the eyebrow just a little further. And we're always looking and trying to find any discrepancies in our own drawing and make it as accurate as possible. And that's something that you're going to be doing as you're painting, right? As you're working. So very important. I want this hard edge on her neck here, so I'm going to use my freehand shield, and I'm going to go perpendicular and not parallel. And I'm just going to see how we can do that, get that really beautiful hard edge. And she doesn't have frizzy hair. She has very hard edges on her hair. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hey, Mr. Brad, thank you so much, my friend, with the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for your support and encouragement. Brad's been with me as in my mentorship program since January of 2020. And that is so exciting. So 21, 22, yeah, 2.5 years. So that is really exciting. And thank you so much for being a great supporter of the channel, Mr. Brad. All the way from Manitoba, Canada. So Rick says, oh, how you doing, Rick? Good to see you. He says it's dynamic, really starting to pop. Thank you, sir. And Rick is all the way from Canada. 3 Canada people in the house, so that's cool. So we have Canada being represented today. I love it. And Mr. Tone is from New York City, Queens to be exact. Always great to see you, Tone. So as I'm painting, I'm looking for hard edges and soft edges, and looking for those, you know, those wonderful contrasts of edges, and that's going to go a long way. So that's, thank you. So Squeeze says, divine flow of light, brimming warmth and hope. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful, wonderful participation, Squeeze, and hanging out with us. And you have a great night, and thank you always. Hope to see you next week. Oh, and Squeeze, don't forget that we have Saturday night live streams now, and we do pastels. And this Saturday is going to be really exciting because we're going to learn how we do the black and white underpainting and do pastels over it. So hope to see you on Saturday. Oh, look at that. Willie says we may have to start a hockey game because all the Canadian guys. You guys remember that saying when they had a boxing match and then it got so crazy that a hockey game broke out? And you see how I'm making her hair more hard-edged? Because she doesn't have frizzy hair. She has, you know, very healthy hair. So we want to make sure that we express that. All these little things here and there, they look like little, tiny little changes, but a bunch of tiny changes make a huge difference. So I always tell my students, we get to the end of the painting and they're like, oh, I thought I was done. And I'm like, no, this is where the real work starts, right? So we look for the little changes. So I'm going to be working on the hair a little bit. Get these beautiful lines. Remember, we're building the helmet first and then we're doing individual hairs. Now, you say, well, you're doing individual hairs now. Yes, but that's only on the very outer edges. Not inside are we doing any of the individual hairs. I just want to establish the character of the hair, right? Of her hair. You know, what are the characteristics of it? Is the hair frizzy? Is it healthy? And this is healthy hair, so I want to make sure that I paint it accordingly. So that means, you know, working on the outer edge. This painting has, you know, your paintings sometimes take a life of their own, take on a life of their own. And this is becoming out as a very sketchy, light, kind of, a lot like the mood of the photograph. And I love when that happens. And it takes on, hey, David Lee Trevino, I haven't seen you in a while. How's everything? So I am so glad to see you. How are you feeling? Is everything good with you? Always a pleasure. Mr. David Lee Trevino is an old friend of the channel. So it's good to see you. I know life gets busy and we can't always come to the live stream, but it's always amazing. Live streams are always better when you're here, David. So that's great. Thank you. David says, great work. I appreciate that. Cool Kid says, oh guys, must take a nap. Take care, my friend. Always a pleasure. And hope to see you soon. And thank you. See you Saturday. Fantastic. So David's doing great. He's so happy that you're still working hard. Thank you. Yes, I'm still plugging. And that's what we have to do. We have to stay positive, right, David? And we got to work. Because good things come to those who work. And that's, you know, that's what I'm doing. And I have great supporters of the live stream here, and as yourself, a great supporter, David, and that makes all the difference and keeps me going. You guys keep me going. You guys and girls keep me going with your support and your attendance to the live streams. It's so exciting, and I can't do it without yous. And that's not lip service, that's the truth. So you see, I'm coming in. I don't want our cheeks to be too full, so I'm just coming in. And as you make these little tiny micro adjustments, you're just going to be surprised how these little tiny things really just come out, and we really get the emotions and the essence of our model, which is really what we're after, aren't we? When we're portrait painters and photographers, we're after something deeper. Anyone could just, with a cell phone, snap something, but to really look for that deep quality, the timeless quality, you know, what's the difference between Mona Lisa and this painting? Nothing. And that's how we have to feel about our work. There's nothing different about our work than the Mona Lisa. It's just as important. It might not be as famous, but it's just as important. So when you think of that importance, you want to give it your all, and you want to really think about, you know, if this was the only portrait out there, would you want to just, you know, dial it in? Of course not. You would really want to take it to that next amazing level, right? Oh, so David says he's setting up for more airbrushes from me. One of his employees dropped yours. Oh my goodness. That is rough. Oh man. That happens definitely. So when you're ready, I do have 2 that are currently in stock. And so when you're ready, you let me know, okay, David? And I'll be more than pleased to have another one of my airbrushes in your collection. Definitely. I want to get this edge, right? So I'm going to bring in a shield on that because I want to get that beautiful edge. It's so important to me. It's very important to me. Let's see. Here we go. We'll just put this right here. And I made this before week 1. This is week number 3, isn't it? And you know, we usually go, how many weeks we usually go? Sometimes 7, sometimes 8, sometimes 10, depending. I think this is going to be an 8-weeker. I have a feeling. Let's see, I want to make sure I get this correct. When you're doing these, you want to make sure that your magnets are close to the edge, just like I am, close to the edge. Right? Yes. So we're going to put these magnetos over here. And we want that really hard edge on the brim of her cap. So let's make this happen. Put that magnet way up, right on that edge. Underspray is not our friends. And then right here towards the edge it gets much darker. So I'm just going to, I'd say I'm about 6 inches from the subject. Now, you may get some moisture on there. So I want you to be very careful. And I want you to just tap on the acetate. Pow! Got it. Let's see what I missed. Fantastic. So it's inkflingers.com, my friend. That's great. So let me know. Now, David, you'll get that free. So if I know you purchased it, I'll make you a set. And when I send it out this weekend, I'll send a free set of the India inks. So that would be great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So cool, so very cool. So you can see on the brim of the cap, it's lighter over here. And then darker on the edge, inner edge. So it's lighter on the outside. I'm going to blow some air on that. And then right here, we're going to make this part of the cap a little darker. And let's work on the edge of this cap here. Just like so. Slow and steady wins the race, right, my friends? That's what they say. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Good, bad, indifferent. Put that there. Put that there. Drum roll, please. Pow. Okay. So I like the way the cap looks. A little stronger, right? A little stronger edge and everything. But you see how I have that hard edge there? I have to take care of that. Because when I darkened this, before that edge was soft, and I'm going to show you one of my techniques of taking a hard edge and assimilating it so those edges come together, okay? So that's very important. Now, so we're going to let that dry. We're going to be thinking about it. So we don't want to ever rush it, especially when it comes to wet, you know? We want to take it easy. Bring that down. Assimilate those edges. So the great thing about Airbrush is that you get the most amazing hard edges. The bad thing about Airbrush is that you also get those amazing hard edges. So what does that mean? That we have to learn how to work with the inherent qualities of the airbrush and don't let it become a liability of how we can fix that. So while I'm waiting for this, I'm going to work on this side, okay? I'm just going to slowly, I'm going to be about 6 inches from the subject, maybe even 7, and I'm going to slowly dust this area. So it's, you know, we constantly got to do that balance of back and forth. It's so, oh, wow. Definitely. So I'm going to send you that. Thank you so much. So this bad boy, I'm going to go ahead and work on it right after the live stream. And we'll get that going. And I'm going to go ahead and customize this. This is David's. I'm going to put this aside. Extremely exciting. Thank you so much for the opportunity, David. I really appreciate it. So that's great. See, that's how, and I'm so thankful. That's how, you know, you all support the channel, and you know, this is what I do for a living, and so thank you. So great. And okay, so we're working on this side right here. And so when I was dusting it darker, I was about 6 inches. So now that I'm doing some detail, I'm about 3 inches. So I'm usually about, I live in the 3 to 6 inches kind of area, right? That's very important. So cool. And we're just going to work in here. Now I want to erase, but we have to stop ourselves because, you know why? Because it's still wet. And if we erase when it's still wet, we're just gonna, it's gonna ruin our day, and we don't want that. So very, very important. And let's see, so we have that going on this side. Let's work on this side of Raquel. And this is almost like a straight line right here. So I'm going to look on my freehand shield and see if I have, you know, a fairly decent straight line. I do. And I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to go perpendicular and not parallel, because I want to have that sort of edge there. And I'm going to lighten it up, of course. I'm just establishing it. And then I'm just going to bring this up here. And bring this shadow down over here very lightly, but there are some areas where it's slightly darker, and that modulation is really going to help us. Very, very cool. So look at that. We're at 10:45 already. I think the live stream is going really well. We're making some really nice strides in our painting, but we're not in a rush, right? We're taking our time, and that's the key to, you know, getting to that next level, right? Okay, so now I think we can start maybe working on this area here, you know, making sure we get some of the shadow areas. And I'm going to cover her blouse so we don't get overspray there. And I'm going to be about 4 inches, and I'm going to very lightly, while watching, slowly darken this value. Now I want to get a beautiful gradation. And how do you get a beautiful gradation? As you're, let's say, 5 inches away, and as you come down, what I need you to do is to gradually, as you're coming down, increase your distance. So I go 5, 6, all the way down to 7. So now I have the airbrush doing the hard work, right? Which is making, doing the gradation, but not having to worry about you doing it, by using the inherent qualities of the physics of the airbrush. When you're further away, you're going to have a lighter spray. Hey, that's a good one, Willie. When you're further away, you're going to have a lighter spray. We have to write that one down. Willie, that's a good one. That's a new Timism. And we got quite a few. So let's see. Going to write that down. When you are further away, you get a lighter spray. Sounds silly, but oh, Steve, thank you so much for hanging out. Steve is all the way from the UK. He's here with us at 3:45 a.m. in the UK. So thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being a great friend of the channel and an amazing student. I will see you on Saturday night, hopefully, my friend. 3 cheers for Mr. Steve Lang. So, you know, thank you. So further away, when you are further away, you get a lighter spray. So thinking that, if you want to, let's say we'll just go ahead and work here. I'll just show you. So let's say I'm doing a spray, right? And I want to gradate. So let's say I'm at 4 inches and I want to go here, but I want to continue getting lighter and I want a nice gradation, right? So let's darken this. I want you all to see this. So you see right now we're at 4, and I'm going to go to, as I'm moving forward, I'm going to 5, I'm going to 6, I'm going to 7. Look at that beautiful gradation. 4, 5, 6, 7. The airbrush is doing that. I don't have to do this crazy dagger stroke where I got to spray down and come up. No, let the airbrush, let the physics of the airbrush take care of that for you, right? The book is getting bigger, Mr. Willie, definitely. So definitely use the inherent qualities of the airbrush to make it do what you want to do. Don't force the airbrush to do these crazy. So here's how some people do their gradations. They'll go like this, and they'll stay at the same distance, and no, that's not the way to do it. It's so much easier like that. Look at that. Effortlessly. This is not effortlessly. More things could go wrong the more times you're you're pressing back and forward and all that. But look at that, just like that. It's like a calligrapher, when they do their letter T's and the letter S's, it's just, it flows because they're using the inherent qualities of the pen to do exactly what they want. Okay, here's how I get rid of hard edges. It's not easy. Like I said, the great part of the airbrush is the hard edges. The bad part of the airbrush are the hard edges. So you see that really hard edge right there? Not a good thing. But it's almost impossible to get rid of it unless we do this. I want you to take an aggressive eraser, and you can sharpen them. They sharpen rather easily, not like pastel pencils. Pastel pencils argue with you when you sharpen them. I see your point. Okay. Let's see. Come over here. Alright, we have this hard edge right here. Let me move this over to the side. There we go. Here is said hard edge. We want to assimilate this so it's one edge. Now, conventional thinking will be, let's darken this. But here's the problem. As you darken this, you're also darkening the edge. So then you want to darken it more, and then you're darkening the edge, and then you're darkening it some more. Then you have this value that is totally out of control and is throwing off the values everywhere. Not a good thing. So this is the proper way to do it. So you're going to go, now this is where precision is important. So you're going to make tiny circular motions that are right on the edge, and you're going the same amount into the dark as you are going into the right, into the light. And you see how I'm doing that little circular edge there. You know, I have an airbrush glove. Why don't I wear it? Because you don't want to smudge. Ink Flingers airbrush glove. So let's go ahead and pull this over. We're getting rid of the hard edge. And the precision is you want to be right on that edge, because that's what you're obliterating, that edge, so you can come in and really get that, you know, obliterate that edge. So we're setting up for when we come in with the airbrush, and you can see already that edge is gone. Still work to be done though. Now, we're going to take our airbrush, still with a detail mixture, because we can do this with a detail mixture. Now the thing is, you're not going to try and cover it up all at once. You're going to do layers of dark, right? So I'm still going to do the same thing, precision. I'm going to look at my 1 second rule while I do this. Now the trick is not to over saturate and not to go and create the line that you created. You're going to go in the same distance into the light as you are into the dark side of that hard edge. And you see that hard edge with just one layer has made a huge difference. Again, precision. I am 1 inch away from the surface of the paper. I'm going to let that dry before we go and give it another try. So and I'm going to take this and get rid of the pencil lines. They are no longer needed. And then we're left with this beautiful hard edge. So it's like hard edges are great when they're there. When they're not there, you don't want them. So, you know, but when they're there and we use them correctly, airbrush just is so much better than most every medium. No, it is better than every medium out there as far as getting edges. Patrick, have a great night. Always a pleasure, my friend. Take care, and I'll be sending you out a package tomorrow, okay? So that's exciting. Hey, what's going on? Mr. Bill, how's it going, sir? And, oh, the gloves, they're on the website. They're really inexpensive. Let's see. I think they're only like $5 or something like that on the website. I'm not sure. Let me double check and see for you. We got the t-shirt, we got porcelain mug, the hat. Oh, we got to go to products. And let's see, here we go. Oh, okay, so the glove is $7.95, but if you order that today, I'm going to go ahead and give you free shipping, okay? Actually, this is what I'll do. If you go ahead and purchase those gloves, I'll throw in one of these aggressive erasers for you, and that's a really good value. So if you want to do that, that would be great. And if you want, I can even personalize it with ink flingers, and I can put your name on it, Tone. Anything you want on there, okay? So, you know, I always try to take care of my people. So if you're asking me on the live stream, you're always going to get better deals. That's for sure. Yeah, the erasers, exactly, $7.95 alone, so that's a great value. And you can't get them, they're hard to get. Oh, Marcel asks, how do the gloves help with the airbrush situation? Because two things. Basically, you have these three fingers. Let me go back here. You have the middle index finger and the thumb free, so it's perfect. Also keeps these fingers that rest there from scraping against, so that really, if you paint like a lot of hours, that's going to help you. And you don't deposit your oils onto your paper or your surface. So several reasons. I really love it. Plus it's stylish. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, I like having the airbrush, and I also do digital art. So I use it as well to work on my tablet. So it's good for digital art, and it's also good for airbrushing. So it's a two-pronged thing, which I love, you know. Oh, so Mr. Bill says he's bought a bunch of them way back when. Me too. And whenever I see them on eBay, I pick them up because they don't make them anymore. This is one. You see how little it is? I use it all the time. So... And Mr. Air Todd, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. That's fantastic. So cool. Yeah, these things are really hard to get, and they're so great because they really do the job that the regular, the ones that you buy in the store just can't cut it. So it's a real plus. So I use it, and I work on it all the time. And so how is your granddaughter doing, Bill? I just want to ask you, how is she? I used to use 2 gloves, but I'm pretty much only 1 glove guy right now, you know? So pretty much I'm just at 1 glove. 1 glove is more than enough. Oh, yes, the gloves are great. Yeah, you know, in the beginning, you might want to be a 2-glove guy. That's always fantastic, you know. So thank you for purchasing the 2 gloves, David. I appreciate that. And so Bill says, see how it goes. Her transplant happened yesterday. How is she feeling? So tomorrow she goes back on chemo, then immunosuppressants. My prayers are with her, sir, and your whole family. And I know it's a hard time. I don't know. I know you're going through something rough, and I don't know how it is, and just, you know, hope you have, God gives you everybody strength and just gives your grandbaby health and recovery and being 100% and being running around like a kid, you know. Oh, right-handed, definitely. Oh, definitely. We'll make that happen. So cool. And oh, we're hoping she can manage to get not get, yeah, the feeding tube is just terrible. You know, it's a necessary thing, but it's a horrible thing to go through. And we're, so you see, I'm still erasing, but look how we got rid of that hard edge when we went and worked on the hat. So we actually were able to take care of that. See that? We're taking care of that, working on the hat. This is the Poetic Airbrush live stream. Very rare. And how you get, remember, you build skin textures through time, and it takes time. So when you're working on the skin, you're always pumping that trigger. And by pumping that trigger, you're and you're moving as you're pumping, and you're creating a variation of ink and no ink, ink and no ink. And that's the way skin reacts to light, is actually the way light reacts to skin. When you have a smooth surface, it bounces off very much like a basketball. The angle of incidence is the same as the angle of reflection in the opposite way. Because it's smooth, it bounces clean. But on skin, it's all bumpy, and it has little micro textures, little micro bumps on everyone's skin. So when light hits it, it bounces in all different directions like a handful of Super Balls. And if you draw those handful of Super Balls, when you bounce it, they're going to go in all different directions. And that's what hair does. Not hair, that's what skin does. That's what light does when it hits the skin. So I hope that helps. She was doing good last night. She raced me. Oh, that's good. So you pushed your daughter in a wheelchair while she ran a scooter. Oh, that's so cool. Yes, that's a good sign, right? That she's still playing and playful. So I love to hear that. That is really great. Just puts things in perspective. And I'm still going to be working on her hat, but you know I'm neglecting her body right now, and I don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to slowly move over there, but there's no rush. So we're in the 11 o'clock hour already. Look at that. So it's been an exciting live stream already, everybody. Let me just go ahead and bring these values closer to one another. If these values are too far away, it's not going to look right. Even though we're still with the light mixture and going light, we want to make sure that we have the general value relationships. That's what's really going to make a difference. Thanks, Willie. That's very nice. Oh, and your daughter was the donor. Wow. Praying for her as well. Yes, definitely. She has to recover too. And so now I need to just dust over here, and then we're going to go work on her neck. Let's see. So we're going to dust over here. I'm going to be about 3 inches away. We want it to be very light, and we want it to be very soft edge. If I'm an inch there, you're going to get nothing but a whole lot of blotchiness. So you want her skin to have a beautiful, smooth complexion. So you have to be about 4 inches away, right? So always remember that we're not just painting her skin, her smile, we're painting the characteristics of that. And so when we do that, then we're going a little bit deeper, and we're seeing, like, is it hard edge, is it soft edge, is it gradated, or is it blotchy? All those different aspects are the actual inherent qualities of what you're painting, and that's when you get those exciting effects and representation of what you're painting, which is great. Wow, the odds of a parent being a donor is very low. Even a sibling is 25%. We were very fortunate. It was one of the best cases. Oh my God, definitely. So fortunate. So now I'm just dusting, just getting that little bit of value there, so it's not like all the dark is on one side of the face. Even though the light is coming from the left, camera left, we have to make sure we get a sense of light kind of falling across the form, a continuity. That's so crucial. And so let's go ahead and work on the values of her neck here. So important. Just come right here. Going to be about 4 inches away. And you want to ask yourself, is the shadow on the chin side or is it on the neck side? Little things like that and paying attention to will go a long way. So I want you to always ask yourself that question, because if you're not paying attention, you might put the shadow on the wrong side. It might look right, but there's going to be something off. And so it's crucial to get that. There we go. Am I in focus? That's the question. Okay. And okay, so we're doing good so far, guys. So everything is good, and we're just going to continue working on her neck area here. Little triangle shape here. I think part of her necklace. So I'm just going to leave room for us to come in with the white pastel later. So we're just leaving that room. And then we're going to put in this beautiful soft shadow by her ear, right? Cast shadow, that the hair is actually casting the shadow. So you see we have a darker cast shadow right here from her hair. And then we have a lighter cast shadow, so we're going to increase our distance to around 4 inches. And we're just even 5 inches. Now I look at it, and then where it's lighter, 6 inches. And creating that feeling of, see, even when you have cast shadow, if light is bouncing somewhere and getting there, there's going to be detail in the shadows. You always want to keep in mind, you don't want shadows to be voids, because then you're not really painting light as it reacts to the world around us. And so when you do that, you'll realize that there's a lot of detail going on in shadows everywhere, you know? Very, very important. And we have a nice hard edge here, so why wait? Let's put it in. Now here's another thing. I have to make sure that I'm going on the right side. So always ask yourself, is that shadow on the right side or the left side? You see, I mess up. So you always want to continue with that inner dialogue while you're working. This is all with the detail mixture, and it's looking dark, but it really is super light, right? Yeah, and this is going to be a beautiful soft edge over here. And her skin is not pure white, right? We have the graded paper, yes, but there are some areas where it's slightly darker, slightly lighter, and we want to get those little micro changes. Just going to slowly put some texture here in this shadow area. Just a little bit of texture and a little bit of light right here. And then we're going to move down, of course, back to her blouse. And you see I'm pumping that trigger as I'm doing this, and that's giving us the texture of skin. And that doesn't happen right away, it happens over time. So as we're pumping that trigger, we're getting that skin texture, right? But we're going to continue as we do one layer, and then we'll do some erasing techniques. And with all those techniques over the time of the painting of, let's say, 12 hours, we're going to arrive at a beautiful skin texture. And it is nice, and it's very rewarding when we get there and we arrive. It's so nice. So remember, Saturday night, now I have 2 live streams a week. Well, this Wednesday night is also always the airbrush portrait. Now, what we're doing on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock is the airbrush underpainting with the pastel pencil painting in full color on top. So that is very exciting. So it's a 1-hour live stream. Sometimes I'll give a little bit extra if I can. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. I am much more well known as a pastel painter than I am as an airbrush artist, but I have been painting almost exclusively in airbrush for the last 10 years. And and doing that, I was able to really get established in the airbrush world. And now I want to start bringing in airbrush and pastel, which is very exciting. And you know why? Because airbrush and pastel go together. They're like sister arts. They really, really, really go together. I'm going to even more reinforce this hard edge, perpendicular and not parallel. There we go. Beautiful. We're going to take our time. There's no rush. There's no points for speed, unless you're a race car driver. Always look at your reference, okay? So important. Establishing these hard edges are really helping us to really get to the light and really start understanding what exactly is happening here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on some of these edges here. And now I'm going to really start developing her blouse. Very subtle. Now so on one of my classes I talked about how when you're working with fabric and folds, you want to look for anchor points where you can find smaller folds. And with several anchor points, you can actually gauge exactly where those folds are. Folds can be very complicated and overwhelming. Oh, that would be great if you could hang out on Saturday if you feel well, Mr. Willie. Okay, so you take care of yourself definitely, and you can always watch it later. But if you feel up to it, I'm excited to always see you on the live streams. Marcel, how you doing? Says thank you for all the commentary. He typically works in pen and ink, and much of what you have to say applies there well. Oh yeah, that's how I found out about ink, Marcel. Is that I studied for many years, formal education, and we used to do pen and ink using the crow quill, using brushes and water, and that's where I first learned how to do ink. And then when I was doing airbrush, when I was looking at the airbrush, I was like, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could put... Now, this was funny. When I started putting India ink in the airbrush, a lot of the established airbrush people were like, oh my God, I can't believe it. The airbrush is not made for India ink. Of course, I proved them wrong because I just wash out my airbrushes with water and a Q-tip, and that's it. I never put anything else in there. So, I mean, the airbrush was made for ink. They actually work together. So I kind of dispelled that myth when I really went in there, and really I wanted to establish, working with Black India ink because I felt it was an underutilized medium in the airbrush world, and I really took it to that next level. And I'm definitely not sorry. I just love all the qualities of how airbrush and the India ink work together. And if you try it, you'll love it too. And I do mean it. Everyone who has tried it has really fallen in love with it, as I did. Because it just, like I said, it works with the airbrush so amazingly. See how I'm getting the volume and everything? I'm taking my time. There's no rush. And the angle of spray, perpendicular not parallel, is really crucial for, I would say, 85% of the time. The 15% are times when you have to go perpendicular. So Mr. Todd, he says he feels like he failed the inks. No way, man. You're doing great. I love that self-portrait you did. And I love the stuff that you're doing, Mr. Todd. We just have to keep at it, and that's so important, to keep at it. So let's just be tenacious, my friend. I want you to stick with it and watch the live streams. There's a lot of information that I'm giving away gladly, and so you'll be surprised. And I leave these on my YouTube channel, so you could watch any of my live streams for the past 4 years. And it really, will help you. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. Really, it's true. I'm so glad you're still working on it because you're very good. You have a lot of talent, my friend. And I want you to continue. The airbrush needs you. I mean, the airbrush world needs you. Okay, sir? That is the truth. We need you. And even though I'm itching to go back into the face, I am going to continue to work on getting some of the real subtleties. I'm about 3 inches away when I'm getting some of those subtleties of the folds. And going back to anchor points. Anchor points are areas where they're like landmarks and you can build on it, the larger forms, and then we can go back and build on it. So that's what I mean about anchor points. You don't get overwhelmed trying to get everything at once. The anchor points, we could just very gradually work into them. Slowly get the detail of the folds. And always, never, ever be afraid to use the pencil. The pencil is your friend. You can always erase it, but we always have much more control with the pencil than we ever will with anything else, with anything else. Always much more control. And you can see the pencil lines are going to go away eventually. I see something in her face here. Just gonna go ahead and put that in. Yes, I still go too dark sometimes. That's just, what our tendencies are. So the trick is to always stay in the detail mixture, the light mixture, as long as possible. So you always want to stay light for as long as possible, and then ever so slowly and sometimes painfully you go dark. So what are the advantages of staying light? Well, you can work on texture and get the drawing correct, and this way, you're not getting too dark. Once you get too dark, then it's much more difficult to make drawing adjustments. And you should be making minor drawing adjustments throughout your whole painting, because little by little, we start to see things more clearly as other parts of her portrait start becoming more apparent. And so you're going to make these little micro adjustments throughout the painting. And since most of your painting you're doing it in the detail, in the light mixture, you will have a lot more wiggle room to make those changes. When we go too dark too early, we paint ourselves in a corner. Remember my Timism, too dark too early too bad, right? So you want to make sure that we don't do that. And believe me, that is so important. I can't stress the importance of that. So we're going to continue with our right here with our anchor points of the folds. So we had a really good live stream thus far. We learned about using the paper. Remember, we used that to get that hard edge. We cut out the paper. We also used some, little overlays I've made. A lot of different tools that are going to help you get those edges. We learned how to get rid of an unwanted hard edge. So many different things that you can take away from this live stream. So I really hope that helps. Yes, definitely. Now, is that with your Eclipse that you're having a problem with that tension screw? Now, if you're having problems with your Extreme Patriot Arrow, let me know. That's the thing, when you purchase an airbrush from me, it's not like you always have, support with it. If there's ever a problem, I'm here for everyone. I'll even meet you online and help you with that. So you aren't on your own, that's for sure. On the arrow, okay, so let's talk about that, and we can definitely see what kind of issue you're having. Now, what's happening when you're pulling back? Are you getting enough ink, or let me know exactly what's happening, and I will be gladly to see if it's the airbrush or maybe something that you need to adjust, right? So we'll go over the troubleshooting. So definitely contact me, I would say tomorrow during the day. So if you can contact me, that would be great. Oh, so Marcel says, Tim, on your Extreme Patriot Arrow page, it says you can describe your customization. Is it possible to mention it here, what the customizations are? Exactly. And is that info? No, right now I can give you what I do. So let's look at, this is how the Extreme Patriot comes from Badger. It has a really tall trigger. It also has a different backing. It has a different needle. It doesn't have a spring in the pack valve. And so all those are just a few of the things that I do. So I'm just going to show you. So first thing I do when I get the Extreme Patriot Arrow, I go ahead and change the trigger I changed the backing. The trigger is nice and low, so it's much more comfortable. This tall trigger does pose some problems when you're working for detail. I fixed that. I changed the needle. I put in a longer tapered needle. So you see how this needle comes way further out. And if you look, you can see, I actually changed the needle already. So you can see how the needle that I changed comes out pretty far. Now again, I'm into physics and everything like that. So the physics of the airbrush, if the needle is coming out further, that means it's more aerodynamic and the air actually hugs the needle further as it comes out. And that means you have a much tighter spray of air. Even though this is a 0.30 needle, you get detail as good as a custom micron for a fraction of the cost. That I do. I put a spring on the pack valve, and what that does, it enables you to have much more micro adjustments. This backing right here, I can get to the needle rather quickly, right? You see I get to the needle, I can pull it out to, you know, do a blowout, and or sometimes you might have to twirl a needle just in case there's any dry ink or paint at the nozzle, so I can get to that quicker. And also I go ahead and do a 10-point check. I make sure the valve is okay, there's nothing obstructing it. I make sure that the needle packing is perfect. I make sure that a lot of the things that are all working. I actually go ahead with chapstick and I go ahead and seal all of the nozzles and all the screws so it's completely airtight and all that. Plus I give it at least 1 hour of testing to make sure everything is perfect. If anything needs to be changed because it's not worth it, sometimes it'll be good when you get an airbrush. When I get one of these, sometimes they'll be good enough. When you purchase my airbrush, it'll never be good enough. It'll always be exemplary. Everything is tested, and I paint with it for at least an hour. So if it's not as good as the airbrush that you see me working with, it doesn't leave my studio. I consider my airbrush like a piece of my artwork. It's an extension of myself. My name's attached to it, so I'm really proud of it, and it really take it personal that it is the best airbrush for $149 that you can ever purchase anywhere. So I hope that helps, my friend. And so we are at 11:28. Look at that. Okay, so you're at work until now, till tomorrow. So we'll work on this over the weekend, okay, Todd? We'll go ahead and we'll see exactly what's happening. Maybe we'll meet online, so definitely. So Mike S says, thank you, Tim. Your videos are always very helpful and fun. Thank you, Mike S. It's always great when you're here. Cool Kids is here. Good to see you. Willie, I'm so glad you're back. That is exciting. So I always promise the full hours. And Brad, great to see you. And thank you, Mr. David Lee Trevino. I appreciate it. And thank you for tonight's order. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is so great. And I'm going to make sure that when that airbrush leaves here, it's going to be working as good as mine or better. Usually better, but that happens too. And I'm just going to continue dusting over. No, I'm pumping that trigger, right? And I'm getting that skin texture as I'm getting the value darker. And so you see, we're getting the, and then right here, this right here, we have a pencil line. I'll show you. And remember, pencil lines are like training wheels. You don't want to get rid of them too soon, but when you don't need them, you don't need them, and you get rid of them. So right now I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and I'm just going to very lightly rub that until it's gone. And now we don't have a pencil line. And as we are working through the painting, because I start with a pencil drawing, we just slowly get rid of the pencil lines as we don't need them anymore, you know. Colette, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you. And oh, you're very welcome there, Marcel. Thank you. And so, good night, Todd and everybody. It's 11:30, so I gave you the full 2 hours. Thank you, everybody, for spending Wednesday with me. And I think we have a lot of concurrent viewers today, so that's exciting. And so I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. I will see you 150. That's pretty cool. Mike S. says, Tim, what do your tricked out airbrushes run again? Oh, yes. Cool Kid says 149, definitely. So thanks for asking. Take care, everybody. Feel get better, Willie. And I will see you Saturday at